Yo, 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 what's up, everybody, and welcome to the 1218 show. My name is Mike Wilson. I am your host. So it's been a minute. I know this. Let's talk about why. I've been busy, of course. We all are. That really is kind of a side note, though. I was a little, I don't know what the word is. Obviously, when you take on a new endeavor, take some time and practice and kind of learn how you go. And through the peaks and valleys, you try to figure out what it is that makes it better and gets worse or whatever. But I got to a point where, my last couple of things, I've only gotten a total of like 10, 12 streams and or downloads via the actual podcast for people that listen to it just audibly. Or YouTube views, and it's not frustration, it's not embarrassment, but you just get to wondering, like, does anybody really give a fuck what I have to say? And the truth is, no. I mean, unless you have an interesting perspective or something crazy, which is, I always kind of feel like it, but, I'm not expressing anything really that's not kind of a popular opinion, I guess. So I don't know. My best, not surprisingly, my best shows have been when I've had guests, and I've been trying to line up some guests. But in the interim, I should be doing more. So, throughout this process of kind of thinking about it and figuring out which direction I want to go, I've reached out to a couple of people here and there and gotten some insight. Some people, and I've had people say, I just like the sound of your voice. I don't care if you can get on there and read a story, because these are people that I've known or that I'm close to, or, these are just loyal people to me. I don't even know if they're any of the people that are still listening or, really fans of the show or anything. They just are, helping me out. And by the way, for those of you that do that, thank you. That's very, very much appreciated. When you upload this stuff and the next day you see that 2 or 3 people downloaded it or 2 or 3 people watched it or streamed it. It's nice. I mean, it's crazy to think like when Russell Brand or Joe Rogan or I don't know any of the big time podcasters or YouTube show people put something up, they get thousands within an hour, if not tens of thousands. And I think that that's awesome. That'd be really something to imagine. I think my editing would have to get much more. I'd have to be much more careful about what I put out there if we got to that point. But on the other hand, maybe the rawness is what I'm missing. Maybe I've just been too conservative or too middle of the road. So that's kind of where I'm at. I think I'm just going to kind of, for now, until I figure out a new direction or which direction this is going to go, I'm just going to kind of run a stream of consciousness type thing. Whatever I'm thinking about, I'll try to put up, as much as I can, whether it be once a week or more than that if I can. If something's on my mind, maybe I'll just pop open the camera and talk about it for a few minutes. Whatever it is, doesn't mean I'm going to be right or wrong, and maybe it'll be a therapeutic in a way, or maybe somebody will make a comment and say, hey, what about this angle or this perspective? And I guess that's how we grow. If I want to do this, I guess I just need to understand that there's going to be, peaks and valleys is one way of putting it. But I don't have any doctorate degrees or anything like that. So there's no, it's not like I'm an expert on anything except for just living life. And I'm not even close to an expert in that. I'm only, I'm in my 40s and I haven't done anything remarkable by any means. Done some cool stuff, some fun stuff, things I'll share with you as I go along. But I have been thinking a little bit. One of my downfalls. So this is what I want to talk about today. Outside of just saying, I'm going to just kind of run ragged and reckless here in the future, I guess was my point. For a while, I'm just going to kind of do a stream of consciousness because the only people at this point that are listening are just friends or family, and nobody really gives a shit. They already know what I'm going to say anyway most of the time. So, that being said, again, I want to thank you. But I want to talk today about, I talk all the time about time. and just how fast it goes, and not wasting it, and what you can do to maximize it, and just make sure you're living is the best, the most quality. You're spending the most of your time living the quality life that you want to live. It's a big thing to me. It's one of the things I talked about with Adrian when he was on the show. He mapped out a plan, and I remember when he showed it to me. It was a 5-year plan, and he's a math guy, so he had it broken down in Excel spreadsheets and everything. Showed me where he was going to be financially. Showed me what his plan was. I think he's actually surpassed where he thought he would be at this point. But he mapped it out, and he made it happen. And it wasn't easy, but believe me, I mean, he strained himself physically and mentally, and put strain on his family with time constraints. But he's got a loving family, and it's been really good for him. And hopefully we'll get him on the show here again. Probably won't be this year, but maybe in 2024. We'll talk about something else. The last time our show was just about his travels and kind of how he ended up where he was, and just the life calling thing that he just kind of threw up his arms and said, I'm gonna give in to what my world is, what I think the world is wanting me to do, and man, it's really paid off for him. So I don't know. I've got so many endeavors going on, and I think that's one of my flaws. I've got I got my hand in like 6 different projects. Between I'm working on I don't want to list them all out, but the point is I've always got all these artistic ideas, and instead of hunkering down and focusing on just one, completing it, and then moving on to the next. And that's kind of what I want to talk about is there's 2 things here. And the other thing is about dread. So the first thing is, and I still suck at this, and I swear I'm trying to get better. But focusing on one thing at a time. I had a Miss Voigt. She was a teacher it was an elective class in like 8th grade, and there was a class called Positive Life Skills. And every week she would, class, well, I don't even remember, weekly, classly, whatever. But you would talk about different ways to, build a positive life. And one of the little quotes that she used was, "Inch by inch, everything's a cinch." And I always remembered that. First of all, Miss Voigt was a very good teacher. And so kudos to you, Miss Voigt, if you're out there in the world. But she had a really neat way of kind of breaking things down, and that little thing always made sense. Inch by inch, everything's a sense. If you set out a little project and then map out the steps of how to get there, and then you just do one little thing at a time, and you build it. Then when the project's done, you have a completed whatever it may be, completed project, completed. I don't know. I mean, it could be just if you just map it out and you just check them off as you go and just do them one thing at a time instead of looking at, you got to have an end goal. And then if you look at a whole picture, a lot of times I think that discourages a lot of people from accomplishing a lot of things. Is they look at a big picture and think, I can't do. If I want to be a lawyer, I got to do this, that, and the other, and that's 4 years down the road. And all they think about is 4 years and all this stuff. But if you just say, I want to be a lawyer, and then you look up law schools, and then you apply to a law school, and then you get accepted to one, and then you're like, okay, I got to start my classes, and then you get this class, and you're like, oh, overwhelmed, I got to read all these books, but you just got to start reading them. You spend your time just inch by inch doing, and then before you know it, the 4 years goes by like that, and suddenly you have a law degree and you're a lawyer, and that's just a silly example, but. So with all of my little projects, I'm trying to get better. I'm really working on. I know you guys know that I've written 2 novels, and I've been working on a 3rd one now for who knows since COVID. And I've just been piddling around with it, and I'm working so much that when I get home, it's hard to be like, all I want to do is eat something and maybe read a couple chapters in a book and go to sleep. But I've got to start allocating that time. Between that and when I do have a little bit of free time, I try to go to the gym, which is also equally important. So I'm trying to better manage that and get better sleep habits. But I work nights and days too, so it's just sleeping. It's whatever. Hopefully all that'll change someday. But the point is, inch by inch, anything's a cinch. And the other thing I want to talk about is this is something else I'm guilty of. There's a quote that said that don't let Monday ruin your Sunday. Now, I don't have a traditional 9 to 5 Monday through Friday job, so that particular quote doesn't really apply to me, but the meaning of it does. Don't let tomorrow ruin today. And it goes in with my time theme because there's oftentimes I find myself, like if I got to work, so my bar job that I work at now, it's very demanding. I mean, it's just bartending, right? I know, I've been doing it for years. I can do it with my eyes closed. But this particular one is very high volume and very busy. I'm not complaining by any means. It's a very good job. It's one of the premier bar jobs in the city, and I'm lucky to have come across it. There's not, if you're a bartender in New York City, and there's a handful of places that are just ideal to work monetarily, let's say, and this is one of them. So I'm blessed that I have it, but it's so demanding and physically, mentally. I mean, it's just go, 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 go. Imagine, the busiest you can possibly imagine yourself being, and then every time you go to work, that's how busy you are for 4 to 5 hours. Now, and straight. Now, when I say the busiest you've ever been, have you ever been so busy that you don't have time or cannot go take a pee? Like, that's the level of busy that this place is. It's like it's to the point now where for 2 to 3 hours before I go into work, I won't eat or drink anything because there is no opportunity for me to sneak out and go to the bathroom. That sounds stupid. And you're like, Jesus, oh, whatever. But it is what it is. And for the moment, that's what I'm doing. So, and I'm not unhappy with it. I mean, it's, like I said, it's rewarding. But the time constraint on it. Now, what that does, though, is I find myself a few hours before every shift starting to kind of dread it. And I want to talk about this dread. Like, I'm like, I got to rest a little bit because I'm about to go in and get my mind ready, kind of zen out, do all these things. And there have been days where I've been so busy and I go right up to, I come home, jump in the shower, throw on my work clothes, go to work. And I get through the night just fine. And then other days, if I have a little bit of time, then I'm like, shit, I sit around and start dreading. And then, I'll spend an hour or two, maybe even take a little nap, which is, fine and healthy if you need it, before I go to work, just because I'm like, I know it's going to be crushing when I get home or when I get there. But the point is, dreading something, the only thing that we know in life, right, is what we have right now. Like this moment in your life is all that actually exists. Okay, you've got tomorrow. You hope you make it. We don't ever really think about the fact that we might not make it, but you might not. I mean, that's, dark, but real, for real. So, and then now I'm not talking about like if you have a job interview tomorrow and you need to prepare tonight, get to know a little bit about the company or your boss, to go in, or I'm not talking about like if you're getting ready to go on stage and you're running through your notes on your head. To me, that's still part of the job. That's still the work. That's still what you're doing. I'm talking about if you already know what you're doing, how to do it, it's really kind of second nature to you. And there's no but you're just like, you're wasting some time dreading what you're about to have to go do. Well, then you might as well just tack those hours onto the shift itself and consider it work. Because to me, that's wasted time. And I'm guilty of it. I find myself often like, oh man, I don't, it's kind of the same theory as a snooze button, I guess. Again, now I'm going off stream of consciousness here, but a snooze button is really kind of useless. I know we all use them. Hell, I use them. You set your alarm 20 minutes before you have to get up, and then you sit there and toss and turn for 20 minutes. And it's like, that's 20 minutes of good sleep you could have got, and then just got up when the thing went off. And instead, you're just laying there pissed off that you got to get up in 20 minutes. Like that kind of mentality, the snooze mentality, I was calling it dread. Maybe I'll call it the snooze mentality. But just dreading what's about to come is kind of, it's not helpful. And I don't know if a lot of people talk about that. And I don't know if a lot of people know how to get through it. And I don't know that I know how to get through it. But I do think that it's something that to think about. I mean, how about you? I mean, do you Do you consider when you are about to go to work, do you let Monday ruin your Sunday, or when you have whatever your schedule is? Like when do you spend time like, oh man, this sucks, and sit there and mope around for 20 minutes or an hour or even a day? Like, I don't want to go to work tomorrow, whatever, blah blah. Well, look, you only have X amount of days on the planet. You only have X amount of hours of life. Why would you waste any of it? Why do I waste any of it thinking about anything other than enjoying and or accomplishing something in the moment? So that's kind of what I wanted to say on this particular podcast. And I'm gonna, like I said, since nobody's listening to me anymore. Again, thank you for those that are. I'm just gonna run. I'm gonna kind of run a stream of consciousness thing here, and just talk about whatever the f I want to talk about for a while. Maybe we'll pick up some more fans. Maybe I'll lose some more. Who gives a shit? At this point, this is all about me. This is all just because I feel like it's kind of fun, and I always kind of wanted to be in movies and TV and stuff, and apparently YouTube with 4 viewers is the top of the mountain for me. So no, I'm kind of playing, but hopefully we will get another guest or soon on here or two soon. I've got I've got some that I've just been lined up, and just scheduling, it's just tough. Trying to find a place at a time that you can match up with people. Especially with my schedule, I'm the problem half the time. I mean, most people have weekends off, that kind of thing, and hell, I just don't. I got to squeeze in little times here and there, and people are like, I got kids, dude, or I got this, I got work, I got whatever, and I'm like, yeah, but I'm sorry, I work on Sunday or Saturday or whatever, and they, so finding those opportunities is always a challenge, but we'll figure it out. So. A couple of little things. I want to give a couple of quick props. One, the Blink-182 newest album came out today. I really, really like it. I really, really like the lead song, actually, the title track. It's called One More Time. And man, it hit home. It actually put a frog in my throat when I heard it and watched it with the video. It's very good. So if you haven't heard One More Time yet, check it out by Blink-182. The whole album it's Blink, so you've got the mix of Blink, fun and crazy and dumb shit, and then some more, heartfelt songs. So check that out if you want. And then the other one is Dumb Money. There's a movie that just came out a couple weeks ago called Dumb Money, and it was about the squeeze from it was 2021. I think it was March. I can't remember. March or April of 2020. No, it had to be, maybe it was February or March of 2021 when the GameStop got squeezed by all these Reddit users and Robinhood users and stuff. And it was, I remember it because I was, I'll tell the story on another one because now we're getting into a long podcast. But actually, that'll be the topic for the next one. I'll talk about my GameStop day because I was at the time working in an office. During COVID, I took a job in an office and I couldn't make a move. I had a stock that was getting squeezed that day, and I just didn't have the opportunity to sell it when it was peaking out. It kind of bums me out. It cost me a lot of money. That didn't cost me because I never actually had it, but the opportunity to have made a lot of money was there, and I wasn't able to grab it. So anyway, thank you for listening. Thank you to my loyal and faithful few followers that are still in the house and still hanging with me. I love you guys. I know I don't say it enough, but I really, really do. I miss everyone, man. I've had the blues a little bit lately, and man, I'll tell you, I hate that time goes by and that it actually ends for all of us, because I want to spend time with everybody that I've ever spent time with. Like that's my idea of heaven. Everybody that I've ever had an encounter with, I just want to get them all in a big room and just sit and talk and hang out and just do that over and over and over with everyone. Like everyone that I've ever given a flying fuck about. I just want to talk to them and hang out, give them hugs, and I don't know. I just want everyone to feel good. It's not easy. The world is rough. We're living some crazy times, and social media is not helping. But I feel like there's a silver lining somewhere. We just got to find it. So if you haven't had a virtual hug today, here it is. Good to see you. And here's a pat on the back. Anyway. Love you guys. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you on the next 1218 show. Peace. I'm not Angry Mike.